What up, Knicks fans? In today's show, we're going to break down the latest rumors surrounding Luka Doncic. But first, we're in a sub battle with some of our NBA channels here at Chat Sports. We're going to see if we can pick up the most subs this week. Right now, we're in the lead, but it's not that big of a lead. 76ers Now, hosted by Chase Sr., and Boston Celtics Today, hosted by Will Scott. They're right on our tail. And I hate the Sixers, and I absolutely hate the Celtics. So help me defeat the frauds in Philly and Boston. Sub to the channel, videos every day, and we go live for every single game day. You are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We have a bunch to talk about on today's show. Brian Windhorst of ESPN thinks that the Knicks could make not one, but two massive trades this offseason for a superstar. But the story of the day, really surrounding the entire NBA, focuses in on Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. Does not sound like he is very happy right now playing in the Triple D for the Dallas Mavs because they're 37-39, and they sit in the 11th spot in the Western Conference. Dallas is also 6-10 since the All-Star break, most notably after the Kyrie Irving trade. And Luka was very vocal about not being happy with what is going on when speaking to the media with the Dallas Mavericks. This is exactly what Luka said to the media. He said, "It's really frustrating. I think you can see it with me on the court. Sometimes I don't feel it's me. I'm just being out there, you know. I used to have really fun smiling on the court, but it's just been so frustrating for a lot of reasons, not just basketball." And in the wise words of the Joker, and here we go. Another disgruntled superstar that maybe the New York Knicks could look to pursue this offseason when they make a trade. I love how Luka said it's not his fault that he's not happy. And it's not his fault that the Mavs aren't playing good. Look, we know he's a great player, but at some point you got to, in my opinion, take a little bit of the blame and shoulder that if your team's not playing well, especially if you're the captain. But I honestly don't give a shit about that. I care that he might be a player that might get traded, and he may have grew up a New York Knicks fan. Maybe a little bit of a rumor. All I'm saying is your shorts are way too short right there, Luka. And also, you see it. He's wearing a Carmelo Anthony jersey. I actually had that same jersey as a kid. Me and Luka, we know ball. But this stems deeper than just what has gone wrong with the Dallas Mavericks this year. Has it been perfect? No. Has it been awful? No. But I would say the Luka tenure in Dallas has gotten off to a little bit more of a rocky start than you might think. Think of the things that went down the past couple of years. They didn't bring back his ace, Jalen Brunson, a guy that was the second best player on a team that got to the Western Conference Finals and carried them through round one when Luka did not play. Jason Kidd, he's on the hot seat, and that's already the second coach in Luka Doncic's tenure in Dallas. Obviously, Rick Carlisle got fired or they parted ways. He's not the coach. Then you traded the heart of your team, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, and a draft pick for Kyrie. And since then, you've been one of the worst teams in the NBA. You also tried to trade for Tingus Pingus, Kristaps Porzingis, trying to get him another start. They supposedly grew up friends. Well, that didn't work out either. You gave up 2 first-round picks right there, and you're already on the second general manager in Dallas. It's not off to a good start, ladies and gentlemen, and when there is smoke, there is fire. If you do not think that Luka is absolutely pissed off right now with what's going on in Dallas, you're lying to yourself. Rewind, go watch the ad, like the video, and listen again to what Luka said. He is not happy, and it goes deeper than basketball. There's obviously some stuff going off off the court with him, so maybe some family stuff, but I'll tell you this much. Losing games when you're supposed to be a top 5 player in the NBA and potentially missing the playoffs, that's a problem. I don't think Luka would request a trade this offseason. I think it's still early or too early in his tenure with the Dallas Mavs, but next year is absolutely a make or break year for Luka Doncic in Dallas. If the Mavs miss the postseason this year and they miss the postseason next year, I think the answer to this question might be yes. So I'll ask you, will Luka Doncic request a trade from the Mavs? Maybe this year, maybe next year. What do you think? Sound off for me down in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. We'll get to more Knicks trade rumors Coming up in a second, we'll listen to what Brian Windhorst had to say. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Athletic Greens. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's show. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health, which is something that I need. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water, shake it up, and drink it first thing each morning. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. This link is clickable in the comments and description of today's show. Get started with them. You're gonna thank me later. It's a pretty good product. Brian Windhorst of ESPN. Now, why would he do that? If you know, you know. Windy thinks the Knicks are a trade destination and could make 2 big trades this offseason. We've talked on the channel that the Knicks are just looking to make 1 big trade, and here comes big old Windy talking about 2 big trades. This is exactly what Windhorst had to say in his little interview on ESPN. He said, in my view, they can trade for 2 star level players if they needed to. It doesn't mean they'd have to do those deals in the summer of 2023. Those deals can be made within the 23-24 season. They can be in 2024. But they can hold, in my opinion, they can hold Jalen Brunson, they can hold Julius Randle, and they can make 2 giant trades. They have 2 handfuls of trade material, in my opinion. They could make, in my opinion, 2 big trades if they had to coming into this summer. It's going to require, I think, a player to say, send me to New York, Windhorst said, and potentially another star player to say, oh, I'll go to New York too. My first reaction is, Windy knows ball because he knows the Knicks have a treasure chest of trade ammunition, but also the Knicks are in a great spot. Windhorst also compared the Knicks situation they're in right now to when LeBron went back to Cleveland for when they traded for Kevin Love. He thinks that they could make a move and then another move just like the Cavs did in that summer. And the reason I think the Knicks are in a great spot and the reason Windy thinks they could make 2 big trades is because they have the whole bunch of draft capital, potentially 3 first-round picks this year, which may actually be 0 first-round picks. We'll talk about that. You got 1 first-round pick in 2024, 2 in 2025, and 10 in the next 7 years. So you have all of the draft picks that you need to facilitate multiple trades. But this is where it gets a little bit sticky because right now, this Wizards pick is not going to convey. It'll roll over into next year. It's lottery protected yet again. The Pistons pick will not convey this year. That's going to roll over into 2024. This is a big pick right now. It's top 10 protected for the Mavericks. And if the season ended today, the Mavericks would have the 11th best lottery odds, which means if they don't move up in the draft lottery, the Knicks would maintain that pick. So look, if you're a Knicks fan, you better be rooting for the Mavericks to win some games the rest of the season. But that brings me to my point. Not only do they have a bunch of picks they can trade, in my opinion, they have a whole bunch of young players that I think could be coveted by some rival GMs in the NBA. I think R.J. Barrett has some trade value. I think he could be moved. I think Mitchell Robinson has trade value. Quentin Grimes has a lot of trade value. Emmanuel Quickley is going to get a lot of interest from general managers across the league. I think Miles McBride as a young cheap piece could be a nice throw-in. Evan Fournier is going to be an expiring contract of $18 million. Obi Toppin is someone that I feel like a lot of GMs think they can unlock his talent. Then you got a backup big like Isaiah Hartenstein, who's on a team-friendly deal. And then Jericho Sims, second year in the NBA, already showing you that he could be a developmental piece. The Knicks have a whole bunch of people they could use in a couple of trades. And I think Windhorst made a good point. You really got 2 trade packages, 1 player-focused and 1 pick-focused. I believe the Knicks will make a splash, or maybe 2 this summer, no doubt about it. Everyone's going to say, but Marshy, who are we going to trade for? We're playing arch rivals. Well, look, These are potential players that I think could be traded this offseason. I think Jaylen Brown, his tenure in Boston, could be coming to a close. We did a video on him earlier this week, and I think that could be a place he no longer wants to be. Joel Embiid, we've talked about him plenty on the channel. And I think he could be a guy, if the Sixers flame out in the playoffs, could ask for a trade. Then you go to the New Orleans Pelicans. What about Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram? It really hasn't gone well for Zion because of injuries, but we know that the Knicks are heavily really interested in Zion Williamson. Maybe Ingram is the guy they look to recoup some draft capital for. Then you roll over to the Los Angeles Clippers. What if they flame out in the first round? The PG-13 and Kawhi Leonard experiment really is a dud, which it has been so far this year. Bradley Beal's name is going to continue to be mentioned as a trade target until he gets traded. Zach LaVine, not a big fan, but I could see him being moved. OG Anunoby. Carl, if you're watching this video, you're going to love that. And then there's Jimmy Butler with quite the hairdo right there. Yeah, I think he was rocking some dreads before the season. Look, he falls short. Maybe Jimmy Butler could force his way. I also think Damian Lillard is a guy that could be traded. I just don't know if the Knicks would be all that interested in him since they already have Jalen Brunson. So we just gave you 11 guys that maybe they could trade for. And there's a couple more, no doubt about it. I didn't even mention LeBron James, who I think Knicks fans should keep their eyes on. What do you think, though? Name a player you think the Knicks could trade for. Sound off for me down in the comments section. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's show. Big game against the Miami Heat tomorrow. Then we got the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday. Really the biggest two games of the season remaining. The Knicks got to continue to stack some dubs and especially beat the Heat tomorrow if they want to remain in that fifth spot. We'll see you then on the channel. We'll be live for that. If you made it this far in the video, hit that thumbs up icon.